All right, so we have a different video for you guys today. We have Domino. He is a extremely reactive Labradoodle. He's about a year and a couple months old, and he's been reactive his entire life. He just was sent down for a 6-week board and train all the way up from New Jersey. His owner brought him down, and we're going to be going over in this video every single reactivity clip of the first 36 hours of his training, and I'm going to be showing you guys how I've almost completely fixed this problem. You got to stay through to the end to watch the whole video because it is a night and day difference how he does. All right, so we're going to hop right into the video. This first part of the video, all we're doing is really just walking around with Domino. He was just dropped off a couple hours ago and just seeing what his reactivity is. We need to figure out his issue in order for us to fix it. Right? He doesn't have a bite history. We know that. So odds are it's probably not aggression, but he has really serious reactivity to any dog that passes. Any dog, every single dog. And so there's a dog walking up there. He's barking, tail wagging. It's almost an excited bark, right? He wants to go. He's looking at the dog. He's staring the dog down, barking, kind of going a little crazy. It's almost neurotic, right? It's some nervous energy almost. He doesn't know how to handle it. It's a sign of poor socialization to me. When he was a puppy, and the dog passes, and look at him, right? He's still kind of going crazy. He's barking just to bark, right? He just barks. He's not even looking at the dog at that point, barking around. His tail's wagging. He's still crying. He's really excited. That excited him, just a dog walking by 30 feet away from him. So you can see that, right? He's looking around. There's no attention to me. That, just a dog passing by like that should not at all be this exciting. But it is for him. And so this next test, what we do, it's going to be really helpful, is we pass really close to a dog. And this is really helpful to see what his intentions are, as well as if he reacts the same way. We're testing out different variables. And so you can see he doesn't bark. He doesn't cry. He just lunges a little bit, which tells me that it's not an aggression thing. He doesn't have any negative intent. Again, he doesn't have a bite history. And it tells me more he doesn't know how to handle these situations. And so now he gets to meet the same exact dog close up. And this will really tell us pretty much everything we need to know, right? He goes up to the dog. The dog just is kind of standing there. And then he starts barking. He's looking to get a reaction out of the dog. And this tells me that this is his reactivity. That all he's doing, he's poorly socialized, at least to an extent. And he's barking to get a reaction. And this is our final testing video to figure out what his reactivity is. We're walking past a dog. Side note, stay to the end because the next day in this video, the same exact dog walks by in the same exact place, and you'll see how he reacts then. But right, again, he's just barking at the dog. The dog isn't looking at him. He's barking, lunging, trying to get the dog's attention, trying to get a reaction out of the dog. That's his play. That's how he's learned to play. And so that's right. He's still right. He's going crazy. Still walking around, wagging his tail, excited, crying a little bit. And this is the first time we actually start giving him corrections. And we have him hooked up to the prong collar now. These dogs were barking at him a little bit. And what he does, he barks. He gets a little bit of a reaction out of the dogs. And that really excites him, right? He's lunging more. And so I start giving pops. That was a relatively heavy pop. It wasn't crazy, but that didn't get him. And then that pop was a little bit harder, and that got his attention. And so something with Domino, it's a really big issue, is his owners put a prong collar on him when he was really young because he's had this reactivity his entire life. And because he has the prong collar, he's gotten used to all of this pressure on the prong collar, this mild to moderate pressure on the prong collar. And so it sucks, but we have to give him really heavy corrections, and you'll see this as we continue moving on. We have to find his level where it's enough to just kind of knock him out of whatever he's looking at, but we don't want to overcorrect. But if we undercorrect, it's not going to change anything. It's not going to get his attention. We just want to give a proper correction where we get his attention. Right? He's still going crazy, but that one correction we just gave knocked him out of it, right? He was like, oh, shoot, okay, and looked at me and then started walking with me. That was the first really heavy correction at all we gave him. This one, he catches me by surprise. I'm letting him make a decision on his own, right? I'm not telling him what to do, and this is something that's going to be really helpful for him. He has to make decisions on his own, and if he makes a good decision, he gets encouraged and reinforced, and if he makes a bad decision, he gets punished, right? It's uncomfortable for him, and so he sees that dog right there, the dog's over and left, and he bolts. And that was a self-correction. I didn't pop my arm at all. I didn't give him any pop. He hit the end of the leash. I stayed firm. He hit the end of the leash, and that corrected himself. He yelped a little bit, and he comes back, and already kind of a different demeanor, right? He stopped. He understands that that was wrong. There's another dog immediately passing right after. Let's see how he reacts just after that one correction, right? He's looking at the dog, doesn't know really what to do, but this is okay behavior, right? He's not getting corrected because he's just looking. That's okay. Ideally, we'll fix that down the road, but that's a totally fine response just after one correction, from looking at the dog. Here we're going again, right? This is an example of corrections that are too small. I'm kind of going back to this example with Domino, how he doesn't, we have to use a higher amount. You see all these little pops I'm giving him? That got his attention a little bit, but now the dog's getting closer. He's giving me no attention. And so what we have to do, right, you'll see, I just give him 2 or 3 pops, no attention. This is the same exact dog in almost the same exact place. He doesn't react. This isn't ideal, what he's doing. He's just standing there staring. It's still a big deal for him, but it's much less of a big deal, which is already a great improvement. And this is, not even 24 hours into training. And he comes back to me, and I'm encouraging him, right? I'm praising him. This is my dog. We're testing him out again, right? He slows down, looks, but that's already a better reaction than he had the first time when he walked past a dog really close up. Here we go. We got a dog walking by. Now I'm really starting to figure out what his correction level is. That pop I just gave him got his attention, and he's looking back because the dog's getting closer. But you'll see how I have to kind of maneuver my body, give him a correction with direction, right? Nope, we don't. There's no need to just stare at a dog as the dog walks by. We're walking. That's all I'm telling him. And he comes back with me, and he gets encouraged. It sucks that we have to use such heavy corrections, and because he's so used to the prong collar, a lot of dogs of his size, we could use a fingertip of prong collar pressure, and he'd be totally fine. But he is really used to the prong collar, and so we have to give heavier corrections in order to show him the difference between right and wrong. That's all we're doing. So we're back here. There's a dog running by. I mean, look at the difference. This is 24 hours into training. He looks at the dog, doesn't react. I walk back, little pop on a little bit of leash pressure, and he's with me, which is amazing progress, but it gets even better. We start walking up here. There's a reactive dog that's walking up towards us, really close to us, and this is like his bread and butter. This is what he loves, right? This is what he wants to get attention from. A dog walking by that's lunging at him and staring at him, and so we'll see how we handle it. I'll show you, right? I have to kind of give corrections with direction. If I were to just pull on his leash sideways where I'm standing like that, it's getting a lot of the back chain of the prong collar, not the full prong collar. So I need to kind of go backwards like that to really give him a correction with direction. He needs to understand, totally fine, right? And then that means 24 hours before that, he would be a lunatic from a dog lunging at him. He would be lunging and barking and screaming. So I pay him a little bit there, because that was really decent, a great improvement. He's happy, right? Tail's wagging. He's not taking anything personally. And so here we go. Got another one. These are some other neighbors that I know that know me. And there was another kind of self-correction there. He lunged to the end of the leash. I'll play it back. He lunged to the end of the leash. And when he did that, he got corrected. I'll show you again. Play it back. Right? He ran, correction. It's kind of hard to see with the angle, my body in the way. But now his demeanor changes. He got a heavier correction. His tail isn't even wagging. He's not super excited, except for when I communicate with him. Look at him, right? He's walking 20 feet from dogs, who is, right? This is unheard of, in his life up until now. And so what I'm doing is I'm just working on getting his attention. This is a good exercise for him on teaching him some more leash pressure, continuing to do that, but also, right, having him respond. When I say Domino, I don't care what's around, right? You respond, and he gets really good at this. We're following the dogs up the street, and he's not overly excited. He's walking with me. He's paying attention to me. He's looking at the dogs, but he's still paying a lot. I turn around. He comes with me. This is absolutely perfect. This is a night and day difference in 24 hours of training. Look at them, right? We're 20, 30 feet from the dogs that are right in front of us. I'm calling him Domino. He comes right to me. Perfect. And if he ignored me, he would get a little pop on the leash, right? The proper amount of pressure for the situation. So, right, I mean, this is absolutely awesome, the progress that he's making in just this little time. Now, this is the third day. This is, about 36 hours in to training. And there's a dog walking by who's lunging a bunch. Look at that. That is absolutely awesome. No leash pressure. He looked at the dog. Again, we need to work on that a little bit, but teaching him to make good decisions. He made a good decision, and he got praised for it and rewarded for it, which is exactly what we want, and it's going to change how he reacts in the future. Every time he reacts at a dog, with a dog that has reactivity like this, we have to discourage that reactivity and encourage the good behavior of, hey, it's really not a big deal. And right, teaching him the difference, right and wrong, good dog, bad dog. Right now, just working on some more like leash pressure, just keeping him engaged with me. We got another dog that's passing up here. I think he gets a couple little corrections, right? A little pop. That's all I got. Tiny, tiny, tiny amount of pressure, and he stayed with me for the most part. Again, vast, vast, vast improvement on where he was. Keep walking up. I think we got another dog. Oh, yeah, no, here we go. Yeah, so a little bit more leash pressure, just keeping him engaged. I turn around, he has to pay attention to me. There you go, right? The second time I gave him a pop, he looked at me right before I gave him a pop, so he didn't really get much. Right, and so he's looking at the dog. The owners are, kind of freaking the dog out. The last thing you should do, but very, very little leash pressure, and he's with me. Big, big, big difference. Again, 36 hours into training. Some more U-turns, keeping him engaged. Right, he's not taking anything personally. He's doing awesome. He's vastly, vastly improved. Right, this is changing this dog's life. There's another dog walking by. There's a little pop because he kind of locked on a little too long and kind of slowed down too much. But again, crazy difference. And here is that third evening. And what happens here is I'm fiddling around with the microphone. Some dogs walking by. I'm also trying to let him make a decision on his own. But just standing there is not helping his situation. And he almost gets through the entire dogs walking by. But then he lunges and he gets a correction. And then we walk ahead, and he's with me, right? He looks back a little bit, but he's with me, right? I said I almost had it, but look at that. And then he locks off right away after we get past. There's a skater guy going by. This is another dog that he reacted the other day. Look at him, right? He's responding to the leash pressure. We taught him that means no, bad dog. He feels it, he responds, and we praise him when he's doing good behavior. Which is exactly what we want. This is a night and day difference. Absolutely crazy the progress we made in 36 hours with Domino. He is a significantly less reactive dog, and we have him for 6 weeks. So we're going to continue improving on all this stuff. And I'm very impressed with this dog. He's really smart. He just needs to know the difference between right and wrong, and we're going to keep working on that. Thanks for watching all the way through to the end. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. Happy to answer any questions. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow along, and we'll see you in the next one.